Disastrous James Charles's brand. James Charles's makeup brand doesn't seem to be succeeding as well as he had anticipated. 3 years have passed since he revealed he was developing his very own line of makeup. James stated in an interview in 2019 that he has finally envisioned something unique for his brand. "I didn't want to do it before because I didn't have a solid concept. I didn't want to put out something that was ridiculous, just to slap my name on it and get a few extra dollars in my bank account. I definitely won't be doing another palette anytime soon, but I do finally have a solid concept for a brand that hopefully will be something new in the market." But that happened 3 years ago, and a lot has changed. There's been a huge, abrupt switch in what people like and how they look at makeup brands now. Fans think that James blew his chance. For the past several years, he has been announcing that his brand was finally going to market, but it never did happen. If James had taken a risk or been fast enough, he would probably be a billionaire now. For sure, he would be making millions of dollars by now if he had come up with something back in 2019. He was at the pinnacle of his career. There were no controversies or dramas associated with his name at the time, not to mention his views on YouTube were record-breaking. James's videos were always a big hit. Every video would usually have 10 to 20 million views, but now his video could not even reach a million views. This is totally fine. He's still earning more than enough to live a luxurious life, but the significant decline could cost him his career. People are sure now that this could have a great impact on the sales of his makeup products. It's not only because he's not as well loved by the public as he was before, but because consumers have lost interest in makeup now. Based on what I personally saw, makeup was at its peak between 2016 and 2019. Beauty influencers and makeup vloggers were the creams of the crop. They all have a big following. Any products they endorsed or used were sure to be bestsellers. Makeup brands took advantage of this and released products almost every week. People would buy them in spite of the ridiculous prices because they didn't want to miss out on anything. But when the pandemic happened, people became very careful with how they spent their money. All of us were just staying at home doing nothing and earning nothing. To make matters worse, many people lost their jobs. And because makeup is not essential, it was foreshadowed by what people need to survive. The makeup industry has suffered from this huge shift in people's interests. However, this didn't stop James from turning his vision into reality. He has continued to tease his fans about the debut of his makeup brand and was planning to release it this year. But we are almost at the end of 2022 and nothing has been announced yet. Looks like it's not going to happen this year. When a fan asked James during a Q&A when his makeup brand would be available, he responded, "My goal was the holiday this year, but unfortunately it's not going to happen because I'm a perfectionist and didn't get my formula approved in time. My lab was ready to kill me, but it's officially done now, so we're full steam ahead, which is amazing. Lots of lessons learned for future launches. I'm not happy about it, but I'd rather take my time and make sure everything is perfect. And honestly, the first launch makes more sense for spring anyway." Another fan asked him whether or not he regretted not launching his brand sooner, and James's answer was, "Honestly, yes and no. If I launched this makeup line in 2018, I'd probably be a billionaire right now, and I'm not going to pretend like that doesn't make me sad. On the other hand, at the time, I didn't have a strong idea for the brand I wanted to own. Years later, although the industry isn't as popping as it once was, I've taken my time and I'm now really proud of the brand identity, packaging, and products I've been able to create, and that means more to me than money." James was aware that if he had taken a bold step in launching his makeup brand, he would be earning so much now. He knew that his brand could be a serious competitor to Kylie Cosmetics. James created a new TikTok account solely for his makeup line. It's here that he asked for any input from his fans as he gets ready to launch his brand in spring 2023. He welcomes any advice and suggestions from his fans on what they want to see from his brand. Even if his first product was ready for the market, he is still willing to listen to his fans and gain insight into his upcoming products. "Help me make a product for my makeup line. My first product is done and is launching at the beginning of 2023. Until now, I wanted to get a head start on a bunch of other products instead of kind of making it a big secret. I wanted to take you behind the scenes and show you guys the lab samples that I've been working on, and get your thoughts and feedback in real time so your opinions can actually affect the final product." James showed a sample product of his brand and revealed that the next product in the works was a blush. One product that I would love to get your guys' feedback on is blush. I posted a poll on my Instagram stories a couple of months ago asking people if they liked cream, liquid, or powder blushes best, and I was pretty surprised that powder and cream actually won by a landslide. So I designed a mock-up in Photoshop of what I wanted the blush packaging to look like, as well as a bunch of different colors, and I sent it over to the lab. A couple of weeks later, I received this back in the mail. As you can see, a couple came cracked, and I don't mind showing you guys these either because unfortunately, the lab did not do the best of jobs at bringing the colors I designed to life. This is just really the first round. We're gonna try it out and see how the actual formula is because that's really the most important part. He also discussed how quickly the makeup industry changes and how fast-paced the trends are, which makes it hard for him to catch up. He continued to share his thoughts about the blush sample. He tried on different colors and gave his honest opinion on his own product. He shared how he conceptualized his products but changed his mind right away because other brands were also doing the same thing. He wasn't even sure if his blush product would be a hit if it were launched because there might be another trend that people preferred. He then asked his fans to leave comments on what they thought of his blush product. What would he do to make it saleable to the customers? He only wanted to make the best product that people would love and be willing to buy. One fan suggested that James would create an empty palette where consumers could mix and match what they wanted, but James wasn't too keen on the idea and wrote, "This seems so great in theory, but the typical consumer wants easy and this makes shopping really complicated." Another one suggested that it would be cool to buy the Duo Cream and Powder Blush, but James has to make it removable so buyers can customize their own blush duo. And James seemed to like this idea and responded in writing, "This is interesting. My packaging ideas would no longer work with this, but definitely something to consider." Other people's comments were about his relationship with his lab. One fan said, "I love that you actually aren't afraid to critique the lab samples and actually care about the final product versus the quick cash grab." James responded, "Oh, girl, absolutely, LOL. These labs hate me already for making so many changes." One person commented that maybe it was time for James to cancel his deals with the lab because of the damaged sample. But James was quick to defend his lab and answered, "Labs never get it right on the first try. It usually takes 2 to 5 rounds of redirects and notes to get a final product. My first product took 20 plus." Some fans were worried that James would only receive backlash for his makeup brand. They would only criticize his product because they didn't like him. But James was hoping that even if people hated him, they would love his product. James turned to his TikTok account to ask his fans how he can make his brand more unique and appealing than the other brands. "I'm so glad that you guys are excited about being able to be part of the behind-the-scenes process, which brings me to this video because I have another question for you. The brand will be launched at the beginning of 2023, which means it's coming up soon. And one thing that's on my mind constantly is my launch strategy, which to be honest I did not have locked in yet. I have a couple of ideas, but I really wanted to ask you guys as the consumers and as the audience, what could a new brand do to grab your attention? What would be something that would make you stop in your tracks and make you be, what are they doing? That's so cool. Do you know what I mean? Like whether it's a photo shoot, whether it's some type of content, I'm open to hearing everything. I feel like the makeup industry is so oversaturated, and at this point, I'm just tired of seeing the slay videos with the perfect models wearing the product, which I've done before, so I'm not saying that in a shady way. What do you guys think? James is probably feeling the pressure now to exceed people's expectations of his product. Maybe he has this fear that his product will not be as successful as he wants it to be. People now have this misconception that when an influencer releases a makeup brand, it's not something new anymore. They're merely copying each other's ideas and placing a hefty price on them. Everything has been tried and tested, and there's nothing else James could do. The makeup industry is a tough place to break into. There's too much competition. Almost everyone is in it, from celebrities to influencers. It may be difficult for him to penetrate the mainstream and make his brand stand out. But James still has so many fans and followers, so would surely support his makeup brand. Maybe this time, more people will love James because of his makeup line. Do you think that James should forget about doing a makeup line now because the industry is too crowded already? Or would he grab his chance? Let me know your thoughts and stay tuned for our next video. Are you not entertained? If you are, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.